That door just opened. Good morning, guys. Things have settled down around the Reed house in terms of Christmas season over, New Year's over. Hannah went back to school this morning. The house is quieting down. Kaylee's back to school. The wife is back to work. I'm working at home. And so things are quiet. But they're not quiet. On a different front. The paranormal front. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps down my arms for some reason. What the... Oh, full shivers. Oh, full shivers. Waves of shivers going down my neck and arms. Okay, so what I wanted to do was mention a couple of strange things. Oh my God. Going right up my arm. I believe somebody has a message for me. I'm going to run some Spirit Box apps, but without asking questions, just to see what comes through. You guys know we have multiple people trying to communicate with me. Wave after wave. This is so weird. Somebody is trying to tell me something, and I don't want to bias the responses I get by asking questions. It seems like I haven't hit the mark. Dave has been coming through. I did a session on his watch. I've been watching other videos. I've been reaching out to companies now to try to get this watch restored. So I just worked at the computer for 2 hours. And I did not have a single goosebump on my arms or a shiver until I picked up the camera and decided, you know what? I need to show these guys what's been going on at my place. This last week, we've had a couple of strange incidences. And of course, I'm not walking around filming all the time, so I don't have these actual incidents happening on camera, but I do have the immediate aftermath, and I'm going to show you both of them because they were paranormal. I have no doubt in my mind. These are things you could easily brush off and just say, the strangeness is happening, and it's just a random happening, but it's not. Why do boxes fall off the shelves and doors open themselves? They don't! That door just opened. That door just freaking opened. It's friggin' cold. It made this god-awful crackling noise. Like it was frozen, and it's probably minus 20 out there. And then it opened. So I was just working at the computer, and I heard something in our room. It fell on the floor or something. Like I was thinking maybe shampoo or something. It was loud. That's what it was right there. One of my boxes fell off the top shelf. That is weird that a box just fell off the top shelf. And after having the door open yesterday morning, I gotta chalk that up to more than just coincidence, just weird happenings going on here. And so to try to figure out who's here and what they want, the only thing I know how to do is run a Spirit Box session and, analyze it after and see what messages are there. It's all I know how to do. I'm not a psychic, guys. I can sense things like I'm telling you somebody's here right now. trying to communicate with me, and that's when I get that static electricity, energy, and the waves of shivers down my back and arms. I don't know how else to describe this. My spidey senses are tingling, okay? Someone's here. Let's do a session. Are you trying to kill me? You keep leaving toys in places where I'm going to trip and get injured. So not only did we have the box fall off the shelf and the door open itself, we had another incident which I have to mention because this falls right in line with what other people have experienced. Now, many people could write this off, but if you notice that blank spot on the wall back there between those two speakers, my TV is missing. Well, yesterday I turned the TV on and it died. There was just I don't know, electrical noise, like a hum, and then the 6 red flashing lights of Sony death. There is no way to revive that TV. It has died. So I have electronic devices that are failing, these other things that are going on, and I'm getting more shivers sitting right here. I know, they want me to get to this. I also want to mention that in the last video we did on Dave's watch, we got into a section there that I wasn't really prepared for when I asked about my mom's cat passing away, and the response I got was my dog's name. So that in itself was astounding to me that I had never said his name during the session, so there's no way the phone knows. You know, it's not listening to me, it's not recording. There isn't some little Chinese guy sitting in a room, 1,000 miles away from here typing responses that come up with a scary voice on this $8 app that we buy. That's not how this works, contrary to what many people think. So that in itself is astounding that it knew my dog's name. I mean, great, we do sessions all the time and it says my dog's name, okay? But that is interesting. Now, the next pet's name that came through was my old black lab. And I have not talked about him in years. So I probably never mentioned his name with this phone or with that app running. And it quite clearly said Hunter, which was my dog's name. Okay, and we were talking about pets in heaven. And there, the response was, it actually got me right here, guys. Oh, I love that dog. He had an unhappy life. He only lived to be 1 year old. He got run over by my brother. And there was a whole war over that. Let me tell you, that's bad memories. And anyway, Hunter apparently is in heaven, according to Dave. So I'm going to turn this on, and somebody is trying to give me a message, and I mean, you guys know who it could be. It's either family members or something else that we're always working on. I'm not mentioning any names. We've done 30 videos on it. It may have been a murder that occurred here in this region, and there's all those players, a couple in particular, whose names keep coming through. And it's one of the victims, and it's the person that they've told me did this. And I even heard that person's name come through in the video session I did on Dave's watch. But again, I cut it out because they're always coming through. But let's just see what the spirits have to say right now without me asking any questions. Okay, so there's a reply that I didn't hear with my ears, but makes 100% sense. Our new friend Annie unfortunately lost her son recently, like in the last month. His name was Pat. Pat has come through now. This is the 3rd video that I hear the name Pat. I'm not entirely sure what it says after. I don't want to, whatever. It says Pat, then it says something. Then there's another message there. Something like, I bought you that mug, is what I hear. Something like that. I don't know. I'm going to leave it in there for Annie. Does any of this make sense to you? Do you hear anything, Annie? It has to be her son. I don't know any other Pats that have passed. And obviously he is trying to come through. So Annie, I'm leaving that in there for you. Does any of that, what is said there, make sense? I don't know. Again, guys, not somebody or something I was thinking of, and there is a response that makes sense. Is Pat opening my door and pushing boxes off the shelf? Could be, because I've never had any of that stuff happen before. So if it is Pat, please don't break any more of my electronics. You can push the boxes off the shelf. I'm okay with that. There's Doug, family members. There's some other family members that could come through. So now I'm going to ask, full shiver. First, I'm going to connect with you, send out white light and love and energy. And then I'm going to ask that you very clearly, the first thing you say, whatever it is, the important thing, the most important message that you're trying to get through to me. You've been trying to contact me. I know this isn't coincidence. So what is the message? There they are, the two names that I was talking about earlier, guys. Carol, who is the murder victim, and Black, who they say murdered her. So, is this just Carol coming through? Full shivers again. Okay, this is the problem that I have, guys, is I don't know how to further this. I want to go do the psychic session, but I'm leery. I'm having a very hard time bringing myself to do that because I'm connected to so many spirits and so many things, and I just, there's the whole loss of my best friend when I was 19. There's that whole thing. I don't know where that session would go. Do I want to share any of that with you guys? Right now, my feeling is I put it off for 30 years. I'm feeling I can put it off for a few more. I don't know. Who pushed the box off the shelf in my closet? Did that say Andrew and visit? Because we did just go to Andrew and Sherry's last week, and I made a video showing you guys some of the night where, we played cards and games and had a few drinks, and I was at their place. So are they just saying that they're watching and they saw that? Kind of makes sense. Dave, I know you've been trying to come through, and that is why I did a video just on you to give you that opportunity, and I believe you did. You said mom's name, you said pets' names that we had. Is there anything else you want to say? Now, my aunt watched the video that we did on Dave's watch, and she said it actually sounded like Dave's voice, a couple of those answers. And we did laugh about him saying that he was going to reincarnate. And that just said something about birth when I asked Dave if he had a message. So it sounds like Dave's coming back. I want to know who was doing the physical things in my house. Dave. That said Dave. What I want to do now is, because we got that response with my dog's name, I want to go back even further. I want you to prove to me right now that our pets are in heaven, because I had a couple of black labs when I was a kid, Grant and I did. If you can say either of their names, and there's a full corresponding shiver down my neck, and I will confirm if I hear them. Hey. It said it twice. It said one of my pups' names twice. Grassland. When Grant and I were kids, we read, there was a Dragonlance series, and one of the characters in there was a mage. And his name was, I believe it was actually supposed to be Raceland, but we always called him Rasslin. So when we got one of our black labs, that's what we named him. And that just said it twice. I heard it. with my own ear without even putting it on the computer. Can you say Raslin's dad's name? Because we had a black lab before that, and he had puppies with my dad's girlfriend had a dog, and we kept one of the puppies, and that was Raslin. But his dad was our first black lab. What was his name? Okay, so I moved over to the other table because the sun started coming through and I need to have a little bit of dark space to write the words that are coming up on the screen. So this takes a little bit of forethought. I want Raslin's dad's name. What was our first black lab's name? Said my brother's name. This is quite easy. You guys are answering other things, and yet I find then you come across a question like this, there's a full shiver of correspondence. Somebody, I don't care who, somebody say the dog's name. If you guys are watching this all the time, you know his name. They just said it. We were kids. We didn't have any imagination. So we named the dog, he was a black lab, Blackie. And that just said Blackie. Who am I talking to? Coming in, and then I heard Doug. All right, Doug, you're here. Great, fine. There's one other person I want to talk to. I won't take no for an answer, kind of like the Blackie thing, okay? I want to know that this person's here, and I want to invite her in, and I want to speak to her, one of my favorite people, and I still say a little nightly prayer to her. Come in and say your name. I'm thinking of you. I'm sending you a hug and white light. Say your name. Do you watch over us? I was thinking that a question in my head, and right at the end as I shut that off, I believe it said, I do. Sometimes they answer things before we even ask it, but in this instance, I was thinking that in my head. When I heard that, is that what I just heard? I'll have to analyze it, but please, can you answer that again? Teresa, do you watch over us? Do you share family moments? And what do you think of the girls?
Yeah, good.
That is how I know this is all real. So not only is it talking about dogs I had when I was a kid, I'm now talking to Teresa, and she says that she watches over the kids, the girls are good, send love, and then it says out of nowhere, your dad, miserable. That is the absolute truth, and Teresa would know, and she just said it. That's how I know this is real. There's so much of this stuff that is real. How do you prove it? She was a mother figure to me when I was a teenager. I really loved her. She was adventurous. She was outgoing. She was fun. She put up with my old man who was terrible. And she really looked out for me and Grant, and we really loved her. Now, I did see that door open in front of me, guys, and I always say I've never seen anything move. If I did, that would freak me out. Maybe that's why I don't see it. But I did hear the box fall off the shelf and hit the floor behind me last night. You know, and the door, I did see the door open. So, but in the back of my mind, Scientific Gary is like, well, the kids didn't bolt the door, and it was cold outside, and, you know, pressure differential between in the house and out of the house, temperature difference in the house, out of the house, causes that door to open. Is there any truth to that? I don't know, guys, because the door has a seal around it, right? You put a weather strip around your doors when you live in Northern Ontario, and that seals the door tight. Well, it was frozen. I could hear the door, like, pressure, like the door being pulled away from that, and it crackling and as the door opened. So it's like there was pressure. Somebody was pushing on that door. It didn't just open. It was frozen in place. That's the part that freaks me out. So I even went and stood in front of the door, and I'm like, no, there's no wind. It's not windy. Why did this door just open? Okay, so the camera's overheating. I'm running the fans right now, but that's not going to matter because we're switching to Hack Shack. Tell me about heaven. I want to know what it's like in heaven. Oh, I'm still getting shivers. Go right down my legs. I'm doing all of this so you can communicate your message to me. Tell me in words. You push a box off the shelf, I don't know what that means. You destroy my expensive TV. I don't know what that means. Tell me. Ooh, there's a wave of shivers. Teresa, can you come through? Give me a hug. I can feel you. She's here. Love you. Okay, we just got our first response. It took like 5 minutes. I'm still sending out light and love to Teresa. I'm not letting this go until I get communication from Teresa. I feel we missed out. We could have had more time. Should have had more time. Should have made more effort to continue a relationship with you. Even when you weren't with my dad any longer, we still loved you. You still loved us. We should have spent more time with you. In the next lifetime, I guess. I have such a great love for her that I think transcends this experience here. It feels ancient. Like I've known her forever. Is that right? Oh, full shivers again. Why am I getting so many shivers and no responses? It actually feels cold right now. I am actually feeling cold air. Gonna send lots of light out to Teresa right now. A big, bursting, beautiful white wave of energy. And in turn, I shall receive energy from them. This is something they've told me before and I feel it. Not only should we give, but we should receive positive energy. Pretty sure that said something light. Full shivers again. Yep, lots of light. I'm gonna send you more right now. Hugs and kisses, that was just popped into my head. I was like, okay. Light, love, hugs and kisses. Come on, Teresa, give me a final message. Can I send light and receive it at the exact same time? I usually send light and then turn on receivers. I don't know how to explain it, but can I do both at the same time? I think so. I think I can. That is freaking amazing. Here I am sending out white light, love, energy, hugs, and kisses to Teresa, and
saying, should I receive energy as I send energy? And the response I get, it says, Gary felt Teresa. It says my name. It says her name. There's a freaking Hack Shack app. There's not somebody inputting responses here. That just said both our names.
Oh, intense shivers right down, like down to my knees. I'm just gonna keep tenfold the light. I'm just gonna keep sending and receiving. What happens if I just keep sending more and more light? I'm purifying myself is the thought that I had. Like they're purifying me? Are you healing me? Because I am receiving as I'm sending.
We used to go camping and fishing with Teresa all the time when we were kids. She loved taking us fishing.
Oh, as soon as I turn that on, we got another message. It's like non-stop now. I'm sending more, like, keep sending messages. I'm feeling totally connected. You watch over me and my children. Can you give me one more message before you go? Feels like you're fading a little bit. Definitely feels like the energy is receding. I love you. Thank you for coming. If there's anything you need to tell me, that was a male voice. Woo. Good save. What do you think of that? Cat-like reflexes. Whew, all right. Wow. The Hack Shack session seemed, I felt more connected during that Hack Shack session than Necrophonic. I have a lot of stuff to analyze, and I know I heard names come through on the Necrophonic side, but I really feel I spent that whole Hack Shack session kind of trying to connect to one person and see what she had to say. There was a male voice that came in at the end. I didn't really understand the messages here, but on the computer, hopefully, I sent out a ton of love and white light and tried to have receptors on at the same time, and it's all an experiment, right? So I don't know, guys. Going to analyze it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And I'll let you know if anything else strange happens around the house. I hope no more electronics go, that's for sure. Thanks for watching.